I think maybe in Europe. Oh, the stream is live.
Oh, it's happening. Goodness. It's happening, people.
The fear.
Ladies and gentlemen, and savvy viewers of well, not all ages, this is a mature podcast.
Is this a podcast MA?
Well, not really. The podcast isn't, but the content we're covering is. So
that's true. That's true.
So I guess as long as we don't describe the bloody scenes too much, then doesn't that mean that it's okay?
You mean the entrails and intestines?
The very same. Hi, everybody. I am Brian, the host of Everything is Mid, and joining us this evening, or this afternoon, whatever it is you're watching. This is a live stream, so theoretically, one could see it in the evening while it's happening.
Possibly.
Ladies and gentlemen, Magic Phil.
Oh, good. Greetings and salutations.
So yes. Phil,
yes.
we well, I guess just a quick recap. I mean, I'll have it in the description, but you're a storyboard artist.
Oh, yeah, my story, my backstory.
You're a creative jack of all creative trades.
Creative jack up. Did you just call me a creative jack?
Independent filmmaker, cinematographer, puppeteer.
I do like doing a little puppetry every now and again. And these days with the world as it is, we're all having to do a little pivot every now and again. But I have enjoyed and you as well. We've enjoyed many a good year in the animation world. And a few not in the animation world.
Sure. But Disney, Warner Brothers, me, Nickelodeon, you, Klasky Schupo?
Never Klasky.
Never Klasky?
No,
Deke?
Never Deke either. I know a lot of people of our generation did at some point have to do some time, not unlike a chain gang, doing some time at Deke, doing Super Mario Brothers, like back when it was the world's cheapest cartoon and quickest money grab
on the television.
Yeah, several people we have worked with, very talented people, have had to do some things that they were not very proud of, and a lot of that happened at Deke, which I think eventually changed its name to a few other things to avoid taxes.
Yeah, you're right. It probably was all tax related.
Well, it wasn't
or legal at the very least.
Not for artistic integrity, I will say. Yes, and Brian. Now I assume a lot of people do know a little bit about you, having listened to your channel. But maybe you're kind of a man of mystery, a voice often over graphics. You are a incredible writer, story analyst. That's all I got.
That's it.
No,
that's already probably a little too much. But thank you for it. We appreciate it here at the EIM Editorial Offices, the esteemed EIM Editorial Offices. But we're not here to talk about us, Phil. People don't care about us. They are here because they care about Alien Earth.
Alien Oith.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now we have watched 2 episodes at this point, that's all that was available. One last night, and we originally were just going to talk about that one, but we went ahead and
we crammed.
Yeah. Once once the cat was out of the bag, we had to just power through, and we have watched Dos Episodos.
I would say that, and that's ultimately what I wanted to do. I thought, that'd be good if we could, do that. Maybe we could talk about the first episode, and then talk about the second episode, and then I could cut this up into 2 episodes. Now, and maybe we'll do that, but
sure.
I do also feel like now that I've just watched the second one, it's going to be hard to isolate the first and just talk about that one.
It's true, although I did have far more notes that I wrote on longhand, as my grandparents used to do on the first episode, because I actually was a little more actively in anticipation of our first foray into discussion. I did write down things, but unfortunately my handwriting is so awful. I can't really read any of it, so we're just going to have to wing it.
All right, fair. That's like I said, that's more notes than I had.
Now,
written at least. So just kicking it off.
Yes.
So Disney buys Fox, and they acquire this
Mm-hmm.
franchise, right?
Right.
And so now they dive in, and so there's a curiosity of, are they going to do to the Alien franchise what they did to the Star Wars franchise, which was kind of squander it.
Yeah, and one would always hope, and I always have a new hope every time one of these things comes out. It's going to be a lot of this, folks. I'm sorry.
It's just buckle up. Smoke them if you got them. Don't smoke, kids. That's bad for you.
So now it's interesting that this was, if we can just jump right in, if that's all right.
Yeah.
TVMA. It would not have taken very many tweaks to have had this be something closer to PG-13. And I think that was more true in the pilot than in the second episode.
Yeah.
Where they definitely were leaning much more into what would be an R rating in the world of theatrical release.
They were more horror forward in the second episode.
That's fair. And I don't know, before going into the specifics, do you want to talk first impressions? Because I do believe in a compliment sandwich, as they say.
Okay.
Trying to give a something positive, a few things maybe not less so, and in this case, my compliment sandwich will be very Dagwood style, which is
okay.
A little compliment here, a little compliment there, and a whole lot of things to talk about in between.
In the middle there. I liked it.
Sure.
I mean, it didn't feel like it went right off the rails. Like with episode 1, I thought this is interesting. The fact that they're building out the universe, that was, and there's a lot of focus there.
Yeah.
I liked the focus on the stuff that wasn't the aliens.
Yeah.
Though I think that they handled the actual alien very nicely in the first episode.
We might part ways there slightly. In that, I think they gave too much of it away. Now, at this point, certainly anybody who's tuning into Alien Earth is aware of what we call the xenomorph.
Sure.
The original alien, what it looks like. So it's not, I guess it's not going to be a big surprise when we finally see it. However, I don't know that we needed to see much of it in the first episode, because it doesn't play a huge role in the first episode, and most of that could have been done with sound effects. And we've got this captain who's, and by the way, we're spoiling everything, right?
Oh yes, this is a absolute spoiled conversation. So
you've got this captain not Dallas, who is getting into his little panic room, and then you've got the alien coming in and scratching its way in. I don't know that we needed to see any of the alien at that point. We either already know what it looks like, or it's not going to. For me, it's a little bit of a disappointment to see it in CGI. Now, you know how I feel about practical effects, and you know how I feel about the original film. I think it's a perfect movie, and it's my favorite of anything Alien. Is the very first film,
agreed,
closely by the second film, which is quite good as well.
Yeah, the first one is truly a cinematic masterpiece. I mean, without irony, it is fantastic. And having just watched it recently, I was really blown away at how well it still holds up.
For sure.
It doesn't really feel dated per se.
No.
I mean, some of the effects a little bit, but
maybe some compositing and whatnot.
But overall, the story and the storytelling, it just feels very real and just really well done. The suspense is just brutal.
Effective in every way. And now the initial horror of a movie like that has worn off after multiple viewings, but the artistic quality of it for me is still the top of the list. For I mean, it's in my top whatever. If I had a top fill in the blank number list, I don't have one, but
I just like the top whatever. It's in my top whatever. I think that covers it.
In fact, after watching the first episode, I popped in my Blu-ray to watch a little bit of the original Alien, just to sort of try to figure out what the things are, the similarities that I think work pretty well, and the contrast that maybe are, and I know they're not just remaking Alien, although for the first about 2 minutes you'd think they were.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. So I don't know if you've seen this already. I don't know why you'd be watching this if you haven't. But yeah, they sure start out, and it's funny because the very first shot is that helmet with the computer turning on, and you can see the lines of code reflected in it, and it's making the noise. And I remember just thinking, oh, we're doing this again. Like we're literally just doing this again, this shot.
Yeah.
But no, I was wrong. We weren't literally just doing that shot. We were going to literally do a whole bunch of them in a row there, weren't we? Isn't that what happened there, Phil?
You mean they're on the USS not Nostromo?
Yeah.
The crew almost looks like, more or less, if you were just to recast the first one with more people, though, there were probably twice as many crew members in this.
Yeah.
But the banter, the set. Now they did a pretty good job of making that set look like the old set as far as design goes. And
props to the series. They've done a fantastic job of recreating that. I imagine a lot of that was lifted from the work they did on the Romulus movie, right? I mean,
possibly.
But you are correct. I agree. The art direction is really nice.
Yeah, art direction, set direction. Now, having said all that, did we need any of that?
Yeah, it was weird. I decided that I understood why they did it after the fact.
Okay. I still don't understand, so you might need to help me out with that one.
I mean, because they start with, the ship comes online, then you go to the pods, everyone's waking up, they're sitting up. We have our crew, they're all wake up now. They're in they're eating in the dining room. It's like we've seen all of this before in Alien, shot pretty much the same.
Sure.
It's not shot for shot, but it's they're doing all the same kinds of beats.
They're hitting the beats, yes.
Yeah. And the captain, who is a synthetic, right? Yes. Okay. He also looks very much like Parker from the original Alien movie.
He is Yaphet Kotto's reanimated corpse, or possibly long lost younger.
Yeah, I was starting to wonder if they did, what they did in the Romulus movie, where they recreated Ian Holm. But did they just do that with Yaphet here?
Maybe, but he's not quite as sweaty as Yaphet usually is.
No, he's not.
And in fact,
that's a 70s aesthetic.
The show's not nearly as sweaty, and that goes to one of my okay. These are the toppings between the compliments in my sandwich. It's about texture.
Okay.
Now I am kind of nuts about film and analog stuff.
Phil, for those of you who don't know, is very nuts about his film and analog stuff.
I don't hate digital stuff. I don't have a major problem with it. It's very useful. Then it is what it is. It's a necessary part of the process now.
And you yourself own numerous analog actual film cameras, and you shoot with that kind of stuff. So
I do, as much as not nearly as much as I'd like, but yes, it is. And I get why people, it's expensive, but the show is not cheap. It was probably an option at some point that they could have shot this, let's say, on 35 millimeter anamorphic. Now they did shoot it on anamorphic. It's very wide, much like the original film, and it has that quality as far as the compositions go, and it has the interesting things that you get from those kind of optics. But one thing that I do find that the digital sometimes does is it kind of makes things a little too crisp and a little too clean, and it lacks a certain texture that I think film has. And then that's not the only thing that would make that difference, but there's a clinical kind of quality to the look of this that offsets it from the original, I would say. Now, some people might respond more positively to that than and I'm old, so I'm going to respond to the things from yesteryear and still do. But I think
by old, you mean seasoned.
I wish that's a nicer way of saying it.
So we get the wisdom of your years. That's why people are tuning in, all two of them, and we thank both of them for being here.
Do we have two people, or is it just us?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm looking on the screen. That is us. So
okay. Well,
I appreciate that we showed up at least.
I almost didn't. I almost phoned this one in. No, I'm kidding. I would never miss this. But so there is that does offset it slightly for me. So for that creates a slight barrier for my eyeballs.
Okay.
That I feel like I'm looking at something that is uh, very close to. I mean, they nailed the sets. Oh, did I lose you? I might be still on, but we've lost Brian. Let me tell you about Brian. Oh,
All right.
he's back.
Yes, this is our first foray into streaming here at the EIM editorial offices, and so I'm still sort of sorting out the whole StreamYard situation here. I just felt like I didn't need to be on the screen while you were talking, and I could take that time to look up the stuff I was trying to do for technical EIM stuff over here.
Oh, okay.
But when I removed myself, I also removed my mic, and that was unfortunate. So anyway, go ahead. Do you just suffer with me, folks, and by folks I mean Phil. And
well,
so anyway, you were saying something very fascinating, though. What was that about? Something or other with the thing?
Well, when you were gone, I was going to tell stories that I wouldn't be able to tell to your face.
Sure.
but your face is back, so
the face is returned. Return of the face.
This one time, Brian.
Anyway, so film, right?
That's just. I won't go very far on that. That's all I want to say about it. That does create, and that's true with a lot of TV shows. They probably had that choice. It would have obviously been more expensive, and maybe they decided it wasn't worth the added trouble and expense to shoot.
Sure.
But a lot of streaming shows actually do and have and continue to. So it was a conscious choice on somebody's part or a team's part to capture this digitally, and I don't blame them in the sense that a lot of effects kind of heavy shows probably benefit from having a very clean clinical plate to manipulate.
Is it just cheaper as well these days to take film out of the equation entirely?
Probably, but I bet it's time even more than money, because when you shoot analog, you still have to get processing and it still has to be digitized. So you're kind of like going, and for some people that might just seem like a pointless endeavor, and it's easier to hit film look later in post and try to add that kind of
right. They just with their After Effects and whatnot, they could just
for sure. Yeah. And so that's, in some ways, I don't blame productions who are, especially ones on a budget, but this one certainly they didn't. I feel like the money's on the screen,
Yeah. And you did see Romulus as well.
I did see Romulus, but I saw it once, and I have not revisited Romulus.
Okay.
And part of it is because every time, again, just an opinion, every time Ridley Scott goes back to this well, I feel like that universe gets smaller and less mysterious.
Yeah.
And it's another thing what I like about the original film is that we don't really know that much about the spacecraft that's derelict.
Oh yeah, no, I was thinking about that too, because when they talk about the company,
yeah,
and they do mention it by name at more than once, I believe, but it's really, but I always remembered as the company was really more the thing. And maybe that's because we were coming out of the 70s and going into the 80s, and there was sort of an anti-corporation sentiment or something, or I don't know, maybe the company has been screwing over the little guy for ever since there's been companies. That's probably some truth to that.
Probably some truth to that. But interestingly enough, I mean, historically speaking, a lot of studios were being bought up by larger corporations. You had Time Warner, or Warner was a Gulfstream kind of company for a while, and it had a different logo, and there were nothing was owned. They weren't owned by themselves. They were owned by a much larger conglomerate.
Okay.
And it's possible that filmmakers at the time were feeling that pressure, and it wouldn't surprise me if the company was in a kind of a reaction to that.
Maybe. But to your point, it was the universe was smaller, and everything outside of this story was just implied, and it wasn't really, now we've been painting the universe in all these films, and as I agree with you, Alien, and then Aliens,
Mhm.
and then I just really don't care
It just
about any of the other stuff.
kind
I've
of drops.
watched most of it back in the day.
Well, I agree with me as well.
No, well, finally, that makes 3 of us then.
I'd say the same thing about the Star Wars world too. I feel like it's 2 great films and then some things that just like along the way, a few spikes of interest every now and then.
Agreed.
But
But that's not people don't want to. They're not here for the Star Wars talk.
no, but
Or
it
they're not
is
even here
interesting.
for the Alien franchise talk. They
How
want to
often is
know
that
about
true
episode
though?
1.
How often is that true
Yeah.
where a franchise has a great beginning, a, an okay second, or even a better, in some cases, a better one, but or equal. And then it just never really captures that again. I mean, we should be happy that we get occasionally sequels that are quite good, because that's rare too. Usually,
Yeah.
get one great film, and then everything else just you get Jaws, and then you get everything else.
And then and
I will say so on as far as like the very beginning of this, we get a little blurb.
okay. Now wait a minute. I do want to go there, but I just realized that we went off on a whole digression before I explained why I thought they did what they did
Yeah,
with
go
that
ahead.
first, and what we got off on the tangent because they were just sort of hitting all of these beats from Alien,
Yes.
and I think that whether this is a good idea or not,
Mhm.
I do think they succeeded in executing this idea of just using that as shorthand because you get all of that and then we cut away to the stuff on the planet, and then when we cut back, the ship is everything's already gone to hell, the
Done, yeah.
aliens out, everything's
Yes.
happened.
Sure.
And I think it was just sort of the shorthand. We saw all this stuff, we go, oh yeah, we know what this stuff is, and then when we cut back we go, oh yeah, and we know what happened.
Yeah.
And so then we could just sort of get into the moment when the ship is starting to crash. And that's the first time that they show the alien. And I thought that little bit was a banger. I thought seeing it through the window and then having it back up after the kill,
Yeah.
I thought that was neat.
Okay.
The relentless fury that it used to break through the glass. And he'd
Yes.
already like soldered the door, so then it's just like
Sure.
ripping at the door as he's trying to get into the thing, and
Yeah.
he's so like he's a synthetic, so he's very all business about it, and he
Did they
gets in there
establish?
with just enough time to spare, the drip on the face, I mean, and then the things like like ripping at the ground. I
Yeah.
thought all that was really neat, and but you may have felt differently, it sounds like.
I wonder if I would have liked that more in flashback. In the sense that the one thing I would say about the show so far is it doesn't have much in the way of mystery. It pretty much lays it out for the viewer from beginning to end, and we don't have much to figure out. And it's not nobody's saying it has to be a mystery, but just as far as interest in storytelling goes,
Yeah.
what I do wonder if it might have played a little better if the ship crashed and we follow some characters into it and they figure it out as it goes along. And I mean, I know that's just as much of a trope as laying it out. So, take it for what it's worth. But
But
um,
as a mystery, it might have been more intriguing.
I think a certain amount of it might have been. And like, what if they had have not? It, the captain does show up again. All right, we find him later on in the series,
Mhm.
and we almost forgot that he was even around. And at that point, I'm kind of wondering, well, what if we hadn't known who this was until some of our leads found him and start to realize he was on that ship and that what is he up to? But
Yeah. So
that's
let's.
different storytelling.
Yeah. No. And I agree. This would be an interesting angle. But I want to go back to the beginning of the movie because as
Yeah.
we talk more about the captain, that's leading us into
Yeah.
second
Second.
episode. So back to the beginning. You were starting to say at the beginning of the first episode.
Right off the bat, it gives us a quick blurb. We get some words on the screen that describe, and I wrote it down: cyborgs, synths, and hybrids.
Yes. I'm
Did
glad you wrote that down because this does seem to be a key element
but
that
is it?
the story is going to be about, or at the very least set in a world
Yes.
where you have 5 super corporations or super trillionaire
Yes.
companies
Right.
They're all in the pursuit or spending their money in the pursuit of immortality.
Sure.
And there's 3 different versions of it.
Right.
And that's what you just listed out. The synthetic, which is just like an android, right?
I guess. Yes.
Okay. And then what were the other 2?
Synths.
Okay, that's what, the synthetics, right? And then what are the other 2?
Oh, I'm sorry, cyborgs.
Cyborgs. Okay. So those would
And
just be robots, I guess.
I guess. Well, cyborg, in my understanding of a cyborg, is it has living tissue and
So that would be like an enhanced human, I guess.
right. That I guess that would be a Darth Vader-y kind of situation where
Okay.
it's some living tissue.
RoboCop.
RoboCop or even the Terminator would be considered a cyborg because there's living tissue over a mechanical. But I don't know.
The third one is the
hybrid.
The hybrid, and that's the new interesting technology.
Is
correct?
it? Is that what the our Lost Boys characters? Are they hybrids?
Yes, I believe they are the hybrids, and this is where people tune out because if we've gotten that wrong, then they're gonna be like, "Why are we even listening to these people? I don't even know."
Well, whether we got it right or wrong, that was a lot of information thrown right at the beginning that I don't feel like played a lot into this episode that I think should have maybe been either reinforced or brought about through organic conversation.
Oh, you mean like when we go to the spaceship and the people wake up and the guy's like, "Oh, what
am I doing here? What? How many corporations are there? What are they doing? There's always that was a. Did I write that down?
It definitely, this show suffers from that kind of awful exposition where people are having conversations that for our sake. Where you go, I don't know that this would have.
There's got to be a better way. I mean, okay, and this is what I actually wrote down. The old exposition to a character that ought to already know, which is some guy. And that, by the way, that's happened not just in this particular episode. It happened in one of the Prometheus ones where people are brought in after they get to the planet and explain to be told what they're doing there, as if they just signed up, went into whatever the hyper sleep is.
Yeah.
And they wake them up and like, listen, I need to tell you why you're here. Well, you didn't know that before you got on the spaceship to go.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. Yeah, it's stuff like that. We're like, well, wait a minute. Wouldn't this trip, it'll be you're watching something. You're like, wait, wouldn't they have this been in like a 12-hour trip? And wouldn't they have had to pack? And wouldn't they have had to get time off of work? And wouldn't they have had, like, these are conversations they would have sorted out. And then, but no, they wait until, oh, and now I'm walking into this office and you're going to just suddenly tell me everything that I probably would have known for the past week.
For sure. They would have known. Yes. And I don't, unless there was some and look, whatever I come up with as an idea is just as bad.
Sure.
If there was a thing where like hypersleep, waking up out of hypersleep throws your memory off or some weird thing, which maybe it does. Maybe waking up, you're kind of loopy for about 14 hours and somebody's got to remind you who you are and what you're doing there because you've got whatever that little thing that maybe
you could wake up a little groggy and then like the computer screen on your little dome that you're in there, it could sort of scan, hey, welcome back, we know you're groggy because of the hypersleep, so we need to remind you of who you are and why you're here.
Now that's just as tropey as anything that they came up with, but somehow it feels I would accept that more, even though I know that that's just for our benefit. I can at least believe that flying through light speed stuff in a cryogenic thing could have you waking up with memory issues that you have to work your
that seems plausible
for a percentage of people. Let's say 5% of the population has about a 12-hour window where they gotta relearn them what their name is and what they're doing there. I don't know. That's the best.
Well, and then you could have another character who's the jerk, and he woke up early, and so he's trying to pretend that they have a relationship, or he's trying to convince them that they have a different job or something.
Lady, the answer is yes. I will make out with you, but just this once. Don't ask again. Ah!
Because which makes sense because we've been married for years. There you are, honey. It's not. Actually, it's because it's Goldie Hawn has woken up in the cryopod, and Kurt Russell has woken up in the cryopod next to her, and it's overboard. It's Alien Overboard.
Alien Overboard / 51st Aliens.
Yeah. So
Drew Barrymore as the.
So there's that.
Yes.
But yeah, so we kick off with all of this exposition explaining what's going on in this universe.
But at the end of all the exposition, I didn't feel like I knew a ton more. I felt a little more confused because nobody really sat down and said what the difference of these three things: the cyborgs, the synths, the hybrids.
Yeah.
And why our leads, I guess, would you consider our main female character our lead in this show? I feel like okay. I would too.
Wendy.
Although I feel like we spent a lot of time away from her as well to build up things that I don't know, they'll pay off later, I hope, and all that. So
yeah, I do think that she's an intriguing character, and I find that when she's on screen and doing stuff, if only because she is so emotionally engaged in what's going on, I feel more emotionally engaged with what's going on.
I'll agree with that. I like her as our basically our lead. And otherwise, I don't know if it's quite an ensemble cast, but we sure have a lot of cast members.
Yeah.
But it would seem like her plight is our main plight, and it's driving so far her trying to find her in a relationship with her brother is a major thread so far, probably the main thread.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Now I will say that even though the pacing on this was pretty good on the first episode, I felt like the pacing held my attention. I didn't mind that they kind of slowed down a little when we were introduced to our lead, and as a child who's being put into a new, possibly hybrid body, if that's the right one.
Yeah, we're gonna run with the hybrid. So there are sick children.
Yes.
This girl is she has a different name. She is one of those children.
Yes.
And this is the new technology where they're going to take the consciousness of this child and put her into a synthetic body. So it's not a synthetic, completely, generated or created personality or something. It's actually going to have consciousness. I mean, you want to say the soul, they certainly kind of imply that that's what's going on, but they never really talk in those terms.
No.
So it's a little fuzzy, but I guess they're, transferring the mind into this thing. The
mind, the consciousness, all of that good stuff. And I do find that an interesting aspect to the show. The show in that respect does seem to walk an interesting fine line between whether this is Alien or it's Blade Runner, in the sense of what makes somebody human, whether the memories, yada yada.
Yeah.
And now that's not to say that's not a critique so much, because the original Alien, of course, had synthetic people that we didn't even know they were robots until it was a surprise. And other than being kind of awkwardly weird, they weren't. They didn't stand out as being, C-3PO type. They were another crew member until. Yeah. So it's not like we haven't visited this before, but it is interesting that they're kind of skirting that line a little between the concept of whether or not replicants are humans versus this is hybrids and synths and cyborgs.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting when. So then the operation's a success, and the first time we see her, she's sitting on a cliff edge up in the middle of a cliffside.
Yeah,
and a shot that was a composite shot that was a little obvious to be.
That's the best effect in the show of her jumping off the cliff.
No, there are better effects. That was not one of them. But she jumped. I'm like, whoa, because she jumps from this super high height, and then you realize, oh, okay, so she's got superpowers. And then I thought, oh, well, this is interesting. So now we're gonna have aliens, and we're gonna have superpower people.
Yes.
So that could be something. but then it's not really what they're doing, is it?
I
Well,
don't
I
feel
guess we don't know that yet. We don't know that we're
we
still in
don't.
episode 1.
I until you mentioned it just now, I'd kind of forgotten that she had anything more than average abilities. Because again, we're kind of, I don't want to get too far ahead in episode 2. We don't see those used again, except for a quick little thing where she's picking up some of the other kids. In just
Yes.
a scene or two later.
So we go, oh, she has super strength.
No.
She has super speed because she runs off when she jumps
Yes.
off of the cliff, and
Yeah.
the super leaping.
Sure.
And she and the other kids. It's okay. Wait. So Neverland. We have to address the Peter Pan in the room.
Boy, the Peter Pan in the room. The second that came up, I thought, well, okay, if I didn't already know about Disney's acquisition of Fox, this probably would have been fine. I wouldn't have had an issue, because Peter Pan as a theme has shown up in plenty of movies that had nothing to do with Disney.
Right.
This one shows actual Peter Pan, the animated film from 1952 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it shows it, and all I could think was, well, now you kind of take me out of it, because I'm too aware. We know too much.
Yeah. Well, and they also have Ice Age. So coming from Fox, they've got bits of that in there too.
And that threw me for a loop, because I don't think I realized that had come up until it shows up in a kind of a superimposed thing, and I don't know if it was her watching something. It was in the second.
Well, they're watching the movie, and you can see it reflected on something.
Okay, well, at some point, that weird, I don't know what it is. It's got eyes that are about this far apart, and it's some kind of a little rodent-y kind of character.
He has a name, and it's John Leguizamo. Okay.
Well,
very insensitive of you.
I thought John Leguizamo was shorter, but
oh yeah, what is his name? But it's that character from Ice Age.
I thought, well, so now we're doing that too. I mean, once is enough, because the Peter Pan theme, you could argue, ties into the Lost Boys, the never growing up. Although in this case, they're kind of growing up. It's sort of the opposite, in that it's not like they stay children. It's almost like if you gave the Lost Boys adult bodies, but they still were childlike in their head. But I guess you could. And our crazy boy genius kind of has he's sort of he's kind of a little boy himself.
Well, and okay, see, the show is so heavy-handed with some of the stuff that it does, like all of the with all of this,
you might say,
Peter Pan stuff. It's a race for immortality, right? So it's about people who don't, want to die. They don't want to grow up,
I guess.
And so where does this take place? At his Neverland ranch, and Michael Jackson's there, and Bubbles. No, there's actually an island facility, and they call it Neverland.
Yes,
and
it's an island.
And it's an island, and then her name as the adult is Wendy. Yes, and she's the first one through the process.
Right,
and then the other kids go through it, and they are the Lost Boys.
Right,
and I don't know, maybe Wendy counts as a Lost Boy because all of the kids in this experiment thing are that.
Yeah,
but she's Wendy. They're the Lost Boys. I mean, one of them's named Smee, which is not a Lost Boy. That's Mr. Smee but it's all this Peter Pan stuff, and then you get to see the footage of it.
Yeah,
and then the guy who is in charge of all of this, who's very boyish, he's the genius trillionaire who runs the company Prodigy.
Yes,
that is doing all of this, and his name.
Yes,
is Boy Cavalier. It is so on the nose.
I didn't remember. I didn't remember his name, because I remember them referring to him as Boy Genius.
Boy Cavalier. I mean, like just literally just.
Is there going to be there? Is there going to be some angry space marine named Captain Hook?
Right.
Well, they call him Captain H for a long time, but then they'll reveal his name is Hook at some point. Oh,
Cavalier! He's gonna come after him.
Boy Cavalier will be blasted out of Neverland forever.
The TikTok alien. The alien's gonna swallow a clock, and it's gonna swallow it right down, and then we're always gonna hear it when it gets close.
Hear it when it shows up. Well, she'll be able to, because she's already got some crazy.
Well, yeah. So is that her? Is that her hearing the clock? I don't know, and we'll move on to the other stuff. But it's just all of that Peter Pan stuff. I felt like you could do one of these things,
yes,
and that would have been enough. Like, give me a little bit of a nod and let me feel like I'm smart enough to make the connection. But it just like lays it all out.
Spoon
just
feeding.
like, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes. Yeah, it's like a face hugger of symbolism coming at you. Just planting the symbols down in your belly. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh. Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
Okay.
Right, so okay.
Can I put a plus?
This is why I thought we should do this.
Okay.
But the other thing I was going to say along those lines, it's just like as we were talking about when they go to the ship and it's all like alien.
Yeah.
It's like any one of these would have been like, oh, like when it started with the helmet, I'm like, okay, you're doing the helmet again, but okay, so you're doing the helmet. But then they just did all of this other stuff.
Right.
You know, it just felt like just pick a reference and be.
Yeah.
Okay, I swear I'll stop talking about this, but I have to jump over to say they did the same thing with Romulus, where they and I don't want to turn this discussion into that, but they did the same thing in Romulus. Where
did Romulus have the little birds that did this by any chance?
Yes,
they did.
It did have the water bird in it,
and then Romulus.
Yeah, it's very subtle. I didn't see it in the movie, but I was watching a thing where they pointed it out, and even when they pointed it out, I didn't see it, but apparently it's there.
So that's a Weyland-Yutani standard issue water
drinking bird
for their.
But yeah, it was just loaded with things. Like it started off fine, but by Act 3, it was just like, and now we're going to hit you with every reference that we can get you from the movies, and everyone's going to say the lines of dialogues from the other movies. It's like just So bringing it back to this. Maybe a little subtlety. Maybe that would have been another way to go.
It would have been nice. By the way, Earth, way cleaner than I thought would be in the alien universe. Like it's very, very, it's very nice. It looks like a place I would enjoy living. And I guess in my head it was all Blade Runner-y because we never see the surface of Earth. Even in Alien 4, I believe we actually do get back to Earth.
And they're like going through the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
And then the climax. I think they crash and they come out and it's like green.
I don't remember I remember clouds, and then I don't remember how they handled Earth in that, but I don't think it was super nice the way that this Earth is. And I also don't know where this takes place in the timeline. So
well, I also know that this was a concept of the alien on Earth from long ago. Like I don't know how much development was ever done on it, but I remember being not a kid, but an adolescent.
Yes.
And hearing the concept of alien Earth and back then naively thinking it would show up in the 80s and it would be this Earth.
Right.
And my mind was blown at the idea of like, oh, how ill-equipped we'd be to deal with, these things. What would that be like, and how scary and freaky. And and so I always wanted that. I always thought that'd be cool. And now here, many decades later, we finally get an alien Earth, not in the 80s, but also not a dystopian or Blade Runner-y Earth either.
It might have been fun if this had been a period piece in the 80s. And it's a lot of Thompson twins playing in the background. And
it's like a Strange Days or Strange Stranger Things, Stranger Things
with alien, well, they didn't do any of that, but they did give us a surprisingly it looked like a functional, even it's like I'm thinking, well, maybe 4 giant corporations ain't so bad. I mean, we're the only thing we've seen is from nice cityscapes and very almost Star Trek-y kind of technological utopia.
Yeah,
and not so much the sweaty underbelly of of a future I would have guessed that the original Alien was dealing with.
Yeah.
Um,
And now presumably these companies, well, it's certainly with Prodigy, they're doing this, and so they're also spending a lot of time studying her
yes.
and presumably the other Lost Boys, but we don't really see a lot of that happening.
No.
They're particularly fascinated with her. I don't know why she would be any more fascinating than any of the kids once they put them all through. I mean, there's like 8 of them, or 7, 5, 6.
Probably the same
5.
number as there was in the original Peter Pan. I don't really recall, but
Yeah.
I don't think that many actually. I'll just say a few positive things real quick.
Yeah.
There was the transition as they each went through the process.
Oh.
It was a single shot, and she's standing there watching as one kid goes down, and then the camera pans around and we see him with the adult body looking at the next kid who's going down, and we pan around, and then they continue that for several of the kids. I thought that was actually very clever, and I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Agreed. That was definitely a little highlight along the way.
Another highlight, actually, I like Timothy Oliphant. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah. I didn't even realize he was in the series, and if I hadn't seen his name ahead of time, I don't know if I would have recognized him at first.
Possibly not. He's leaning into the silvery gray hair.
Well, he's looking like Roy Batty.
A little batty-ish. And it was refreshing to see a familiar face in an otherwise cast of. I didn't recognize anybody particularly.
But you should have recognized. Okay, so with Timothy Oliphant, his character is Kirsch. And I'm looking at my IMDb cheat sheet over here. So his name is Kirsch, and he's sort of like he's a cyborg, right?
He has to be, because he's playing him so kind of. I mean, if he were playing a human, I'd say he's playing him a little flat. But if he's playing a cyborg, he's playing him a little bit like Ash in the sense that he's within a range.
Yeah, and they talk about it, I think, in the second episode, where there's a reference to him and how has all of this knowledge.
Yeah.
So he's like the human intellectual, but he's like the father figure.
Yes.
And then he's working with this other scientist who is the emotional and humanity and human connection.
And what is her name?
Mother figure.
Yes.
Her name is Dame Sylvia, the character. But
Okay.
did you recognize the actress?
I kept thinking I should, and I almost for a second thought it was the woman from Galactica who played the teacher.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
President, but it wasn't her.
Oh, no, it's not her. Yeah.
No, but for every now and again I'd see her and think, gosh, I wonder now. It's not.
I did have to look it up. I was like, she seems familiar. She's probably
give me a hint. Give me a hint. Let's play some kind of a game here.
Okay.
What do I get?
Well, all right. I will say that there's 2 main properties that I know her from that I believe you also know her from.
Is she American?
That I don't actually know.
All right. I didn't remember if she had an accent or not, but
I feel like she has an accent.
Yeah.
But we saw her initially in a horror movie. Yes. And then later she's in a known for a period piece that she did that was a series. Yeah. And I know that you've seen the series.
Oh, okay. Is it related to Outlander?
No.
Okay. But I didn't think so either.
Right. Well, but good guess. I mean, that's a period piece.
No, I couldn't think of an actress in Outlander, but that is a show that we've seen that would qualify as being something of a period piece. Is this fairly recent, like in the 2000s, 2010s?
Yeah. The series was in the 2000s and 2000s.
And the horror film that might be
that was probably around that time too.
Oh, interesting. Is it some Blumhouse thing?
I don't remember.
Is it something we saw together?
Yeah, we did. We rented it, and I'm trying to remember if you had seen it before. But it's basically it's her, and she has a child that plays a big part in the.
Is it the Babadook?
It is the Babadook.
Who's the mom in the She's Australian, probably.
She's Australian. That makes sense because Miss Fisher in the Fabulous Miss Fisher Mysteries is also in Australia.
And she was in that.
She is Miss Fisher.
She's Miss Fisher. Oh,
Yeah.
she's oh yeah. She's very. Now, see, I didn't make that connection.
No, I had to look it up. I just saw that she was familiar. And when we were watching Miss Fisher, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is the one from Babadook. You know, this is
Right,
crazy.
yeah.
Very good little horror film.
Excellent. Elevated horror, as they might call it these days.
Very small, low budget. But yeah, so she's a great actress. And so seeing her as the mother figure and Timothy Oliphant as the father figure,
yeah,
he has some line of dialogue that implies that he wants them to have kids, or is that a different scientist?
I didn't remember that part. Was that must have been in the first episode?
Yeah, in the first episode, it's one of the very first introductions, and then she says, "Oh, these are our children."
Yeah,
that's again, it was like a conversation that I feel was for our benefit, whereas
right,
you know,
because no people who are in that position would have to remind themselves of that.
Right.
So, I guess we can there's always a certain amount of acceptable exposition in a movie, because the reality is that I do want to know, and somebody's going to have to tell me in some way. I just don't want it. I don't want to feel the tug of that hook. I don't want to feel that I'm being patronized in that way. And trying to find exposition in an organic way that doesn't just have. How many times have we seen a movie where there's a male and female character in a house, and somebody has to say, well, come on, little brother. If mom were here, she would say this.
Right.
All this crap that nobody.
Know how dad always says we're supposed to.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one, though. I can accept that one. No, they're all bad. And I don't know, panning across family photos where somebody's obviously been photoshopped in. A certain amount of it is acceptable, because it's how storytelling kind of has to work. You don't get the benefit like you do in a novel of explanations that you don't question. They don't come out in weird ways.
Yeah.
Maybe this needed a narrator. That would be awful.
Don't advertise for scientists.
I never understood why
aliens.
The name was Boy Cavalier.
Yeah, so
kind of billionaire genius.
Getting back onto the plot train.
Yeah.
Here. So the kids get in the bodies.
I want to do my Harrison Ford impression. God damn it.
The spaceship crashes.
It crashes
because the alien gets. So the spaceship is not a Prodigy ship. It's one of the competing.
It's a Weyland-Yutani ship.
Is it a way? Oh, yeah, it is Yutani. Yes.
Yeah, it's the USS Not Nostromo, and it's carrying stuff. By the way, I didn't think about this until about halfway through this episode. What are the odds of that ship landing exactly perfectly level? Because it did. Nobody's ever having to slide down Titanic style from one room to another.
Maybe it's part of the crash protocols that the ship goes into.
The ship can level itself for easier rescue operations.
And the ship is full of weird, and not just the alien, but many different strange alien creatures, samples and stuff. And they're apparently doing some experiments, and they're bringing these things back.
They are
presumably in pursuit of this whole immortality thing, but it's just R&D. It's big, I imagine.
And it's another reason why I wonder where this falls in the timeline, because Weyland-Yutani has been trying to grab an alien for their kind of bioweapons thing. I think is the idea.
Yeah,
it's the first film. So where does this fall in the time? I don't know that it matters exactly, and I don't know that they're going to tell us. And maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I agreed. I don't know if it'll be revealed. I did not do any homework in that regard to do the research. I did see. I was trying to see if it was connected to Romulus in any way, because initially I thought, before I'd seen Romulus, that there'd be some character crossover or timeline crossover or something, but apparently there's not. So Oh, and while there's not any character crossover,
Yes.
they sure did cast another lead, dark, black-haired brunette, short hair, of a certain age and look. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very similar to the lead that they put in Romulus.
Are you talking about our lead in this?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's somewhere between her and Audrey Amelie.
Yeah.
That kind of an Amelie thing.
Yeah, she definitely
And
got an Amelie look going for her.
there must be something in the Bible of whoever's deciding these things. It's like you have to have female lead between these ages, with dark hair, possibly short at some point. Could be a little bit longer, but it's going to be mostly short, and not any longer than Sigourney Weaver's.
They've decided that there's an aesthetic for the female protagonist in an alien movie.
They've also decided that the next female actress in that group is got to look like Veronica Cartwright, because we have another actress who's playing in these that's one of the other kids.
Yeah.
A little bit Cartwrighty.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah,
I didn't really make that connection until you said that, but you're right. She looks.
I didn't make it until you brought up the whole and I don't remember that actress's name either in Romulus, but she's quite good too.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you where in this episode where I think they may have lost me. I became a lost boy.
I'm going to guess that it's the same area that oh, hey, Texas Taurus, welcome. We have somebody who's joined in. It sucked. Disney messing it up.
Do we have some kind of fanfare or confetti we can and he's out.
and clear.
Well, welcome. All right. Do you want me to say it first, or do you want to guess?
I'm gonna guess is it when she decides that they should go rescue people?
Could my head's gonna fly off of my body in extreme nodding. That did not. I mean, these are essentially children.
Yeah.
With adult synthetic bodies that are resilient for sure, but we don't know how. We don't know if how easily they can be killed, or if they can die natural. Like, can they be? I assume they can be blown up or whatever. But could you shoot one and they would bounce off their metal plating? Or
how indestructible are they? I don't know.
Are they? So we don't really know their rules. And even if we did, I kept thinking, wouldn't it make more sense if she had stowed away on something?
Oh, that would have been great, because they don't have any training. They don't. No, the prodigy is just sort of studying them, but they're not even putting them through paces and having them do stuff. It's just kind of like they're hanging out at the facility.
Yeah,
she seems to have some sort of power where she can go into the cameras and move around through the technology of things that she can see stuff. And she has a brother that she has been separated from, so that's her big character thing, is that she's obsessed with keeping an eye on her brother, for sure. But they're not trained in search and rescue. They're not trained in anything, as far as we know.
These are adolescents that have been basically ill for a long time, so they probably have been in bed doing not much for a long time.
And it one might think, without spoiling the second episode, because we haven't seen that yet, since we're not talking about it yet.
Right.
One might imagine that when they get there, they'll just act like confused children who are completely useless in a search and rescue situation. One would imagine that perhaps that would happen.
One would imagine, and then they do experience. Well, again, we're in the episode.
We're almost there. Let's see if we can just put a button on this episode and then jump into that one.
I don't even remember where it ended. Was it them, the search and rescue folks, that I don't know if we're supposed to really care that much about, because they're apparently again, this is tying they're visual motifs that tie into the rest of the Alien franchise, as one would expect, and actually kind of be happy about for a certain amount. These are like colonial Marines. They even have, I
Yes.
think, the same kind of weaponry as the colonial Marines.
Yes.
But it's search and rescue, and it does feel odd that they're just going in with guns ablazing at what is essentially a plane crash.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe a certain amount of that it would be expected if somebody had said we think this might be a terrorist attack or something, or that there's some reason why we need to be on edge about what, because the colonial Marine folk don't know what's in there.
No, and it all feels so like
Forced.
disconnected from like the world building. The world building sucks, is what it is, because what's going on with these people and the way these procedures unfold
Yeah,
don't feel connected to any reality of infrastructure and stuff. But again, we don't want to get too much into that
sure.
just yet. But this episode ends. I mean, we do reveal that there's alien creatures that have escaped and critters and whatnot. The people go in, the search and rescue go into search and rescue.
Yeah.
And with the captain of the ship is out now, and he's looking for the alien. I guess one would think he'd be looking for all the stuff.
I don't know. Well, for whatever reason, the main alien is his main interest, and maybe we'll find out more about that later. But he's the guy? He's the one who unleashed, Wrath of Khan style, something on the Marines that he tied up. Or
I think the critters were already out.
Okay,
so he just chained them, but it's clearly a death sentence. Why are you doing this to the search and rescue people? I don't know. And then you had the little alien creatures that crawled on them and then like sucked the blood out of their body.
Yes.
And then there's like an eyeball one that we just see running around at this point. We don't see what it does. I do feel that the creation of alien creatures and how they play into this stuff is definitely a story challenge or a writing challenge.
Well,
and I don't know how well they succeeded at that.
I don't know either, because one thing I will say, when you have a bunch of other things like that, the alien is less interesting as a result.
Yeah.
Much in the same way that Kong on Skull Island isn't so interesting once you've got 100 million dinosaurs and everything else too. And the other issue, and this is about generally about the series so far, not scary. Not scary. I don't find it to be scary or even particularly tension filled yet, because they have to I feel like they're plowing through things that if it was the original movie, they would have played out some of the moments to build that tension a little more. But so far, we're kind of plowing through some horror bits, but with people we don't know particularly well yet.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really, it just falls into I guess this guy's going to die or whatever, but we didn't.
And we don't really see much of the alien in the first one.
No, but I think we see too much, because I would have held off on that. I would have held off on the reveal of that alien even more than they did. Maybe a shadow, maybe the sound, maybe a little.
I as much as I do like the bit that they showed him, as I explained earlier.
Yes.
I did think that was an effective little, and that was tense for me watching it. I was just like, but I think you make a good case that could have easily been sacrificed for a bigger, better mood and tone and slow burn reveal of the stuff, because we know where this is going, so we don't need to rush to get there.
Certainly not. And
give them a little more time to properly flesh out their characters and their world building stuff.
And there one more quick thing. They did some flash forwards as quick little, what I would call a blipvert, if you from Max Headroom days.
Headroom, sure.
Yeah. Of horror things, just flashes of horror at some point. Early on, and I didn't think that worked at all. It made me think that they cheapened it to such a horrible degree. I don't know if it was at some point, probably maybe even before we meet our prodigies. it's like we're still on the not Nostromo and things are going normal, but they just sort of flash these red things of horror stuff happening. Cheap.
Yeah.
Not effective. It wasn't scary. It was just annoying and
Oh,
probably gave away stuff.
and another thing with the not Nostromo is that they're kind of building out the characters a little bit where we're imagining like, oh, okay, these are the characters we're investing in, and then they leave that scene and then reveal that no, they're all dead.
They're all dead.
Mess with that.
Yeah.
But even within that, they had the one crew member, the Asian guy, and he was like the creeper who would stare at the beautiful woman in her pod.
Yeah.
And they're having this whole conversation about how apparently this is a thing he does, and he's been reprimanded and he's not doing that anymore. And meanwhile, he's over there doing it, or we're getting flashbacks of when he did it, or it was just sort of needlessly.
It was their attempt to give these characters something before they're killed off, because it doesn't really pay off in any way because we don't get to know them well enough to care. And they're not in the show after. I mean, they're dead.
Yeah.
Spoilers again. They're dead. They all died in the first 15 minutes of the show, and you could have lifted almost that entire sequence out and not really missed anything story-wise that we couldn't have gotten from making it more of a mystery and discovering on our own, I guess.
And using that as a segue to the end of the episode. It didn't make any sense that she sees. Well, it makes sense that she sees that her brother is there, and so she wants to go there, and so she pitches that they should help and they should go. And boy, Cavalier is so cavalier that he says, "Boy, let's do it." And so they go, and in transit while they're going, Kirsch, the Timothy Oliphant character, he's talking to her about how they're different and how humans are they all die. You live, you die.
Right.
And then she's saying that no, she's gonna not let her brother die. He's not gonna die. And Kirsch is like, he's human or whatever.
Right.
And she says, no, I'm going to save him. And they'd spent enough time talking about this topic.
Yeah.
It made me think that the way she's saying that, she doesn't just mean I'm going to go to the search and rescue thing that's happening right now and make sure he doesn't die there.
Mm-hmm.
I got the feeling that it's a bigger topic, and that like she's going to make sure that he gets in one of these synth or hybrid bodies too, or something.
100%. Yeah. And this is, and we have to keep, I guess, reminding ourselves, if the characterization doesn't remind us, that she's still an adolescent. So she might be a very smart girl, but she's her ideas on how to save her brother might be that of a 12-year-old. And now she's been given the superhero body, but she's still going to be processing things as a child, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're quite leaning into that as much as I might have thought they would. And I wonder if having too many of those kids in the series has diluted that to a certain degree. Maybe I might have been just as happy if she was the first one and she snuck out on this ship to go rescue her brother, and then but
100%.
It's just making it that's another show, so it's not really fair to do that to it. But that might have been a show I would be more interested in.
Well, you could have spent more time with like, what are the procedures at Prodigy for studying her, and what are they trying to accomplish?
Right. What are they studying? What experiments are they doing? Are they testing her ability to fight an alien, perhaps?
Right. Like, what one would think, for storytelling wise, that there would be a flaw in what they've done. Like, what's her limitation? It's like she can't process emotions properly, and when she does, then the hybrid stuff starts acting weird.
Sure.
Something along those lines, some kind of a limitation to what she can experience or accomplish. And
it may exist, but they sure haven't spelled it out for us in any way.
No, and
she's a superhero in a superhero body, and she's not going to die by normal means. But
yeah. So so it ends with that. That's episode 1.
Yes.
Boy, I sure can't wait to find out what happens in episode 2.
Well, that's going to be tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah, or
Later tonight.
I
Next
guess
time
this kind of doesn't work since they dropped both episodes at the
they
same
did,
time.
yeah.
But hey, what do you say, Phil? Let's go watch that second one now.
I'm going to
Come
go
back and talk about it.
I'm going to take a quick break, watch the second one on I'm going to watch it double time.
Perfect.
We'll be right back.
All right. And we're back.
I should get a different shirt.
Yeah, I thought about changing, but now I don't even think I'm going to cut these up because I feel we've already talked an hour and 10 minutes.
Have we?
Yeah, but I feel like there's not another hour's worth of content in this.
There's not.
Episode.
In fact, I think we could bang this out in about 20 minutes.
Yes.
I can tell you the one thing I really, really liked in the second episode.
Yeah.
And you tell me if because I bet some people hated this.
I've got to guess.
Do
you want me to guess?
Yeah.
It's when it ended. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
So what did you like about the soundtrack swelled? I knew it was over.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was the wacky costume party. I actually really liked that, and I kind of in a different show that would have been a whole episode. Like finding a weird party going on some floor or several floors in some part of this giant. I mean, whoever's throwing that party is well off. They could have had 3 or 4 floors in that building, in their penthouse thing, and it could have been a crazy, weird entire episode. Really, if it were that kind of show.
Yeah,
it's not. So it's more of a throwaway gag, which is unfortunate because it was the most visually interesting thing that happened in that episode for me. It was like door opens and out comes an 18th century, French guy with a wig.
Yeah, in the full getup.
He comes fopping out. Ooh, how may I help you?
Oh, now let's see. Hang on. Texas Taurus is joining us in the conversation here. So Texas, you thought it was pretty weak. And apparently you didn't think it was as bad as Romulus, though. Phil, how do you feel? Would you say that this was worse than Romulus, or was it as bad, or which one was better?
Well, it's a little bit apples and oranges because, for one thing, Romulus being a feature film is going to have I feel like that falls into a different category by which to judge.
The criteria, yeah.
And we've only watched theoretically the first. I don't know how many episodes are in this thing. And by the way, I thought this was a limited series. It turns out could be ongoing because it said season 1 on Hulu.
Yeah,
which makes me think that they could be doing other seasons. I thought this might be a 10 episode or an 8 episode.
It's 8 episodes for season 1.
Okay, and maybe there won't be a season, but that tells me that they're planning at least. They're dipping their toes in the water.
They're open to the idea, apparently.
For sure. And that's
no, we can say Romulus sucked, Texas says.
I'm not a huge fan of Romulus. Just because, like I said, when we watched the first episode before, when we were talking about episode 1 a while back.
Yeah.
In the other live podcast.
Oh, right. And that previous podcast where we were discussing episode 1 of Alien Earth. I remember it like it was 5 minutes ago.
I feel like I've changed a lot since then. And maybe my opinion of the show has changed a lot since I've seen this second episode.
Sure.
Alien is the only movie for me, really. I mean, I think Aliens is a great film, and it's an action film, and it's fun. But Alien is a masterpiece, and anything else past that is so far down the rungs, progressively down the rungs that Romulus doesn't need to exist in my head because I think it messes with the original too much.
Now Texas is saying that my friends and I call the tall, skinny alien Lamian. So like the lame alien. Or the tall, skinny alien. Are you talking about like the original Alien?
No, it wasn't there one in
in Romulus, like the baby that's like the engineer guy. I don't
know if that's what he's talking about. There might have been a different take on. Actually, I don't remember because they get muddled.
Romulus.
I thought the alien in Romulus was pretty close to the alien, but maybe there's another one in there that.
Yeah, the xenomorph seemed pretty legit, but
Pretty,
you've got to
yeah.
be referring to the once the big tall one at the end, right? In the climax, Texas. That's what you're talking about.
Was there a big tall one in the end with?
Yeah, because she takes the yeah. Okay, so yeah, she takes the super serum. The
Oh,
pregnant girl takes the super serum, and then
okay.
it could
Okay.
makes her give birth to this, and he looks kind of like one of the engineers from the
Prometheus.
yes, from the Prometheus movies. He looks like that.
Okay.
Now I don't. Now I don't want to give too much away about Romulus, Texas. My thoughts on it, because I am just starting a review on it. I figured if I'm doing this Alien Earth, people who are actually interested in this or the other one, they might cross over. So,
For sure.
so keep an eye out for that. My Romulus is that of interest? Would you?
I'm certainly looking forward to it because I haven't seen that since it came out, and I assume I saw it in the theaters, but I don't remember now.
Texas, can I count on you for a review once I do my Romulus review?
There could be kickbacks involved, Texas.
Well,
yeah,
I hope so.
Well, I did. I've got notes on episode 2, but not nearly as many.
Yeah. Let's see. My first note sucked. Lame. El stupido.
El stupido. The
Now, and I want to say I liked the first episode better than the second episode.
Okay.
But there's stuff in the first episode that I felt kind of went on a bit when they were doing their stuff with the Neverland stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
This episode, I definitely felt like they were losing me in a way that I was more open to it in the first season and then the first episode, and then this episode happened. I'm like, all right, but go ahead. So what do you got? And just for the recap, in this episode, she and the other Lost Boys do show up. They help the search and rescue. Well, in that they join the search and rescue.
Yes.
She goes to find her brother,
which
she does. The brother has a run-in with the alien. We see more of the alien stuff. The ship captain shows up and tries to bag the alien, but
drag it away from that cool party.
That cool part, yeah. And so part of the thing of the search and rescue is going through the building to tell people to get out. All of this is kind of dumb.
It is really silly, like those people in that party. I don't care how banging that party was.
Yeah.
You're not going to notice a giant spapeship.
I mean, there was a giant spaceship. There's no way that would not have rocked the world of that. No, at any rate, so yeah, they do that, and that's when they run into the crazy party. The alien kills people.
Yes.
The Lost Boys and Kirsch run into some of the other alien creatures, and Kirsch is trying to secure the alien eggs once they discover those.
Oh, right. And then we finally get to the eggs, which is all that
and Kirsch plugs into the ship, so that's why we know he's some sort of a perhaps cyborg, if not synthetic. But I'm sorry, go ahead. So that's kind of my wrap up, and then you go.
Well, that's a pretty good wrap, and I think we end on the eggs, more or less.
And the key, the emotional story or arc for our lead in this is that she does find her brother.
Yes,
and she does reveal to him who she is. She's his sister, and she convinces him
in an odd little way. There's, I mean, you understand setups and payoffs very well, Brian.
I've heard of the notions. Yes, I believe I released a short segment of my Jurassic Park review for Rebirth, specifically talking.
You have a link for that over here?
I should really put one in there. I don't know who I'm promoting this to. Phil, I mean, you've already seen it, I would hope.
I have seen it, of course.
Okay. But who else is seeing this? I don't know. Texas. Have you seen my Rebirth review? You should go check it out. It's pretty good. All right. So but anyway, you were saying, Phil,
about
setups and payoffs.
One of the things about setups and payoffs is when you pay off a setup. I've seen it before where it didn't ring true when something is set up and it's paid off far too quickly for it to have any impact at all. It doesn't make any sense for, like, it's a big thing. Oh, it's just my secret. It's a secret. It's a secret. And she finally sees her brother, and she doesn't want to say who she is. And you're like, well, this will be interesting when it finally comes out in an episode or two.
Yeah.
When there's some reason for it to have an emotional moment, like that's going to be a big peak in the arc of these characters' relationships and how they relate to each other. No, it's 4 seconds later when the guy says, "Hey, it's your sister," and it's like, what? And then his reaction is not natural, or I think nothing.
No.
I mean, he was almost killed by an alien about 5 minutes before too. So like everybody's way too calm at this point to
Yes. Speaking of not acting natural, that's kind of his whole character shtick.
It sure seems like it, but is that a mistake, or is it just his characterization?
I was willing to cut it slack, and this is me, in my head canon, imagining what's going on, is that he was in shock after that alien thing, and so we see him wandering around with a baseball, and then he's talking to her. I think there might be some truth to that, but no, I feel like this is a complete bumbling of the character and the scenes of
it would seem so. It has as far as him almost getting killed, so he's part of search and rescue, but he's a medic guy, right? But I don't feel like he's been through the same training that the colonial marine types have. So when they expected him to leap across this giant chasm,
what the, seriously?
And like they all go first, and then we're like, hey, come on.
I wasn't even sure why the first guy jumped. I would think that it's not like if they heard there are crying children trapped over there,
right?
Well, we've got to do something. Oh no, the fire's coming, or the ledge is breaking. Like some sort of motivation where you go, we have to do this, even though this seems absurd. But instead, it was just like, well, they told us to go down. This is as far down as we can go unless we jump, so we got to jump. It's like, wait, do you though? Do you really have to jump? Like, what the hell is going on here?
There's no reason. And let's say that if they had gone your route, which would make sense, here's another one. They're stuck there. They see this crazy alien thing coming. It's way up there, but it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you have a reason to want to jump across there because you're in fear. You're running. You can either run towards something to help, or you can run away from something that you're in fear of.
Right.
They did neither. The first two people just jumped for no reason. Our secondary lead, the brother, is getting ready to go, or I think he's prepping. I don't really remember how the scene played.
Well, he is looking at it, and I think it's pretty clear that he doesn't see that he's going to make that jump.
Okay, well, and so do we, by the way.
Yes.
Because, why would you'd think that the first Marine would jump and the second Marine would throw him dwarf style, Lord of the Rings across the as like Doom style. But no, they just go and expect him to do the same. But he's not played up as a Marine type. He's a medical guy, and it makes me wonder.
He's like Peace Corps or something.
Yeah, he's like exactly. He's there to bandage up people, and soon, physician, heal thyself if he tries to jump across that thing. And an alien shows up, and I think they both sort of have to. I don't know what happens.
Well, then the alien shows up, and so he does the leap.
And the alien does, and he kind of misses, but then they land on a lower level.
And he and the alien end up on a lower level, and then he runs to an elevator, which I'm just looking at, like,
world's fastest elevator, by the way.
Yeah, just the pacing of it's and they do this all the time.
They do.
The pacing is wrong.
I wrote trope alert.
Yeah, the alien moving so fast. And then he runs, and as soon as he just looks at this door, and they're huge doors.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a narrow elevator. It's huge, which means those doors are going to go all the way out here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, he's dead. And then, he pushes the thing, they open, and then he goes in, and it closes right as the alien. I'm like, wow, really?
They closed Star Trek style, schlink. way fast, and they had the whole scene happened so fast that there was no time for the tension to build for me to even be worried. It was over before I even really quite even knew.
Well,
I was supposed to be scared about him being possibly eaten. And this is a fast alien. It's not a creepy alien. This is more like an Alien 3 alien. It's moving around.
Yeah.
These are the 28 Days Later style aliens versus the Dawn of the Dead style alien.
Right. Dawn of the Alien Dead.
Yeah.
It moves fast. I'm not sure. I don't really trust the way they're handling the alien. Initially, like in that one scene that I liked,
yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool the way it was very relentless and whatnot.
Sure.
But I'm not really sure of its intelligence level and whatnot. It runs in and kills everybody really fast, and I don't know why it's doing that.
No, I wondered about that too. And again, it makes it less scary. It makes it now. He's not eating them. I don't know. He's not.
He's not bringing them to the eggs and gluing them to the wall.
No, nobody's glued to the wall. And I don't know if there's an explanation later that this is some weird xenomorph that just only kills and like doesn't have any other raison d'etre.
Yeah.
But it kills rooms full of people so quickly that, again, there's not time for any tension or real fear in what's happening. So I think they're kind of losing me on that because I feel like, again, the first Alien plays so much on the building of the tension about what's around the corner and, is it there? Is it in there? It even moves kind of slow, really. It kind of moves, you might even say sexy,
I mean, when it gets Dallas, it's just like sitting in the vent and goes, eh.
It does move kind of quick there, but the rest of the time it doesn't seem like it's now they did speed up, I guess, over time. Maybe they thought that they needed to get the pacing up to keep people's attention, but I don't know.
I think the point is I don't really understand the aliens' motivations. It's just a
killing machine.
It's a killing machine.
Yeah,
but then fast killing machine.
Theoretically, so are a lot of the things on that ship. So then again, the alien just keeps falling down, and it's a killing machine that our not Yaphet Kotto character comes in and zaps, and as soon as he got zapped and he fell to the ground and got sacked up, the tension drops. The alien's not scary anymore when you can just bag him up like I think Borat tried to do with Pamela Anderson.
Well, who wouldn't, right?
It's just like, well, now he's just pulling an alien in a weird sack, and I don't know what his motivations are either. Except,
but all I know is that well, his motivations I think are pretty clear. He's just like, well, I don't know, maybe they are a little murky, but he's
trying to deliver this alien.
He's trying to deliver it to the company. He's got to make sure that this thing. But then that stupid sack, I thought, well, that's interesting technology. And then the alien just, as soon as it becomes conscious again, it just gets out. It's like, why even have the sack?
No,
I mean, it was completely pointless.
Yeah, in fact, it might have taken a long time to get it in there. My wife and I tried to put a pup tent back into its original thing, and that you're trying to fold these little fiberglass things around, and it took us about 40 minutes to get into this thing. I can only imagine. Now, it wasn't this is an unconscious alien. It's not fighting you, but how much do those things weigh? And he's a cyborg. He's probably strong. I would think you'd have to get instructions and start with the head part or the tail. I don't know. But why bother?
Yeah.
Why bother? Just I guess he must be pretty strong, because I imagine those things weigh about 300 pounds. I don't know. $3 One of those 320.
Yeah, they gotta be pretty heavy. Yeah,
they gotta be. They're biomechanical. They look heavy. They look heavy.
But yeah, he's a sense are strong. And okay, so that's another thing, is that when she showed, her brother is getting attacked by the alien at some point. Well, I guess that's at the very end, so maybe I shouldn't jump to that. But I'm going to, just to say, I thought, oh, now we're gonna see her. She's gonna move fast, and she doesn't move fast. And she like runs over at normal speed or something. It's like in the Phantom Menace when you see the Jedi's go zoom that
Oh
one
yeah,
time.
they
You're like,
never did
oh,
it
well,
again.
this is gonna come into play, and then you never see it again.
Again, setups and payoffs. I can imagine at some point she might jump down an empty shaft like we've established that they have and
That
land and be
would
fine.
technically fall into a setup. It would have
That
been
would
set
be
up.
for
Yeah.
sure. But so far um, her crazy strength and her agility and her quickness have I forgot that she had any of that in this episode because it doesn't come into play at all.
And this is the one that you'd want it to come into play.
Nor have we really. There is one character, the not Lambert character, express some fear about that little
The eyeball critter.
eyeball creature right out of the thing that
Oh yeah.
came intact. And but so far none of these other children seem to be experiencing anything. I would have been dropping bricks as a 12-year-old in that situation, just being there. Lights are flashing, there's gas shooting out, and there's weird creatures. I'd be over huddled, even with a strong body. I'd be too afeared. I'd be afeared to use it. I'd be holding my knees, rocking back and forth, and my
From
happy
the fear.
place. From the fear, I would have died from that fear. And I don't feel like I'm getting much of that from these. They're not even. They don't seem that interested in what they're doing. It's like, I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
she's got a reason to be there, but the rest of them, I don't know why they're there. I don't know why they exist.
Yeah, no, and they haven't fleshed out any of those characters at all. And
No, I don't even know how many there are.
Yeah, and the only characterization we get from them just demonstrates that they have no business being there at all.
No,
I mean, they clearly are just children in this situation.
Sure, including her, by the way, and she might be the most interesting so far because the show is telling us that she's the most interesting. She has at least a something to be aiming toward. She's got a direction and a motivation. The others are along for the ride.
Yeah,
they didn't really give us a great reason in the first episode for why they were there. That is where it lost me, I think. It was like, wow.
Yeah, and the alien, the creatures that are there, there's that plant thing that they're just spend half the episode staring at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, isn't it obvious that this is dangerous? And you're just standing there. And then even when it starts to present its thing, you go like, why are you like leaning into it? Why are you not stepping back? Why are you not?
I'll tell you why, Brian. At this point in the franchise, we have a rich history of characters who don't seem to understand the fear of an alien snake-like thing or tentacle-like thing coming up and getting in your face. You almost want to tickle it, gitchy goo style.
This is very well precedented in the franchise.
At this, unfortunately, yeah.
Particularly, what is it? Prometheus comes to mind.
100%.
The scientists are in there, and it's like, then they're like, oh, the coochie goo moment. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So you've got a giant plant again. Okay, we've got our alien eggs at the end of this episode. Spoilers. And we know what they are. We know why we're supposed to be concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But the show itself has already given us this weird plant/animal thing hanging from the ceiling that's just as big and potentially just as scary. But we're not treating that. But that's not the alien thing that we apparently know about because we all know what an alien egg looks like. This is something else, so we're not supposed to care as much.
Why would Kirsch? Theoretically, nobody knows anything about this alien versus those aliens. So why would Kirsch care about the eggs? Why would that become the priority? Maybe from information he got when he plugged into the ship.
Possibly, but they didn't really. I don't know that we got that.
No, there was never any setup. I mean, it's as far as any of these people know, it's a research ship. But and even then, I mean, Kirsch finds that out when he plugs in.
Yeah.
Did Boy Cavalier know that? Was that in one of the earlier discussions when they talked about the ship crashing? I think they just said, "Oh, it's Yutani's, so let's go pillage it."
I think they knew something was on it. I think they knew it was it was delivering stuff.
Yeah,
Deep space, whatever
exploration or
specimen collection, I don't know, but I do feel like we already knew that there was something on the ship that Boy Cavalier was interested in.
and did I mention this earlier? He's basically the Peter Pan. So you have the full cast there. You got Wendy and Peter Pan and the Lost Boys.
Yes, and then I wonder, did we? What was the name of the character that was from Babadook? She's the mom.
It's Dame Sylvia. It's Dame something.
What's the name of the mom and dad in the Peter Pan stories? Who's Wendy's mother and father? Like, what are their names?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually have the same names because how far they've gone into this.
It wouldn't shock me. So the eggs, I think having all these other creatures, it muddies the water with interest. So every time we see something new, I don't care as much about, and it offsets the actual alien that we're supposed to be concerned with, which we are supposed to be concerned.
Yeah. And that alien, we've discussed how we're kind of confused with that. I think there was another point I was going to make, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's motivations and killing everything in sight. I don't,
except for when it doesn't. And see, that's another thing that they do, where it's just like
right.
the
Like
one
you
time
lay
it goes
waste
up.
to an entire party of fops, but
Yeah.
and colonial marines in the hallway, and leave blood all over the walls, Ichi the Killer style.
I mean,
Japanese.
it does make an effort to kill the brother. The brother's name is Hermit, by the way.
Hermit?
Yes.
Hermit.
Yes. Which makes me think, I mean,
sounds like
as a last name, maybe, but what parent names their child Hermit?
You are destined to be alone, my child. Living in the woods, off the fat of the land, probably growing a beard at 20. It's all straggling. You'll collect cans.
They have, I mean, it's a nice moment when they realize who they are and they hug. And
it is, but I felt nothing because that moment didn't have like with the setup 2 seconds before of her. She's looking at him. She's excited, but she doesn't want to say it. Like, when is she going to reveal herself? Because it might be kind of strange. She's in a new body. Hey, it's your sister. What?
Yeah, but I mean, we've at least set up that she's isolated and desperate to connect with her brother. So I feel like there's something there, and you can understand why the brother would feel that way, but they didn't.
He doesn't.
It's not like they haven't, with all the stuff they've been spending time on. They haven't really spent time on the isolation and the need to connect with family,
right?
So that when this happened, it would make more. It would be more set up, I guess.
Which is not, that doesn't bode well for a series, because they do that in movies all the time and it feels perfectly natural and pulls on the heartstrings, and they have much less time to do it in movies. You've got 2 hours. We've watched 2 hours of this alien show, and in 2 hours I've developed no connection with almost any character except something of our lead, and almost nothing for anybody else. And they've had 100
120 minutes
120 minutes to do it. I should never have boxed myself into a corner by thinking I could pull off math
on the fly
like that. I almost got out a calculator. So that doesn't bode well for a series where those big emotional things have lots of ruminating. You get to build on those characters and build, and when it finally happens, it actually does mean something. But so far, we've gotten mostly expendable. Anybody that's died has been expendable.
Yeah.
And I don't feel much for too many. I guess the brother sister thing is the closest, but I'm not feeling a lot for that.
So I want to touch on, well, we touched on it. I want to spend a little more time on the brother
Yes.
not behaving like a normal human being, but I
Yeah.
also want to put a pin in how, well, I'll just say it now. It's just how I was mentioning earlier how disconnected all this stuff felt from the world around it, the world building.
Yeah.
Like, we know it's a search and rescue operation because we get there and they show up and they talk to the people in their bunker that is, running this operation. But aside from that, every time we cut to the people that are in the building, there's not a sense of like, we have set this up. You are this team, you are here. You are this team, you are there. I mean, they talk about the comms being down,
Right.
which would make sense, but I never felt like the comms were ever on. I never felt like these people had specific missions that they're supposed to do. It's just like they're wandering around the building going, oh, yeah, we're supposed to look for people. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, we need to clear these floors. We need to, I mean, they talk about, oh, this tower is going to come down. Yeah. Just want to remind the audience that, there's maybe a ticking clock here, but there's not really a ticking clock.
Not
We
really a
just,
ticking clock, and we haven't seen the consequences of them not getting people out of these places. It, again, if this were a feature film, I feel like they would have been they would have gotten right to that, and we would have known exactly what the plans were before we see them go awry.
yeah.
And right now, I don't know what the plan is, other than it is extremely vague because we don't even know where we are. We know that this building is 100 stories tall. There's 80 above and 20 below. I did remember hearing that.
But it's never been clear. Like, so is this residential? Is this? I mean, it apparently it is because that's where they're having that party, and that
Yes,
seemed like a residential thing.
for sure. I would have thought office buildings that, and I don't. It doesn't feel like a disaster area the way that. I mean, I hate to hearken it back to anything in our world, but this is sort of a 9/11 concept thing of a
Yeah,
giant ship, but I don't feel like that the damage done really went beyond just what's slightly around the ship that landed into this building,
hmm,
and that the lights are flickering in the ship, and that people don't even I it's hard to imagine that there would have been a party going on in either of the twin towers after one of those things, and one of the, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Uh,
And this ship was freaking huge.
oh
And
yeah.
I mean, there's no way that anybody in that building would not have been moved by what happened and be in a panic. There's just no context for what's happening. Like, I
There's
don't understand.
no,
There's no, these are the police, these are the fire
right.
people, this is like they're debating about these things, here's the people who run this building, here's like, oh, what's happening in this. It just doesn't feel like it exists in a real world. It's like you just get to this exterior shot and then you see some interior shots and you see there's people milling about.
Right. And not very many people for the scale that we're attempting to create in this show. Um, we
I
saw
mean,
some extras at one point pretty early on after the ship crashed, and then after that, it's been a series of like two and three people at a time, and we didn't even see all the party goers. We saw a guy open the door and then scream, and then we saw some bodies later, but we didn't
yeah,
even
you're
feel
right.
like that. I didn't
Well,
even get to see the
that's
whole
the cheap
party.
way out.
That was, and by the way, that was unnecessary gore, in my humble opinion.
Mhm.
That I think that was them bumping up the horror part
Trying to
to,
hit that mature rating.
I think so, which was unnecessary. It wasn't necessary. It was kind of depressing, and felt like it was from a different show.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, and then you go from that stark horror to immediately to the alien being taken down by a kind of a zapper gun, that you think, wow, if only they had zapper guns in any other alien movie, we might have had, like, the tension would be, there'd be no other alien movies because you'd be like, well, okay, the zapper gun, just get the
You feel
zapper
like
gun.
that would have been standard issue for the Colonial Marines.
Yes, bring the bug zapper.
Yeah.
Um, because it seems to have worked pretty well, and
They should
once
hang some of those bug zapper lamps at the colonies and stuff. The
right.
aliens just attracted to it. They go right in.
Oh, no, that was silly, and not again, it makes the aliens this thing that's this killing machine. Like if you could easily take down Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger that with just a fancy device, they're not scary anymore, and neither is the alien.
Yeah, and let's go to the brother Hermit.
Yeah, Hermit. Yeah,
he has this run-in with the alien, which would shock anybody. It would scare the crap out of anybody.
You'd think he'd be traumatized, and he seems to.
And you'd think that when he
runs the Reggie Jackson baseball would have even ticked. It would have moved the needle at all after almost dying from an alien attacking you and getting into an elevator, and now you're like, Dad, I can't believe this baseball's here.
Well handled in the elevator where he's trying to use the communicator and he's freaked out and everything, so that was nice. But then you would all think that when because he comes around the corner then at one point and he runs into one of the search and rescue people.
Yes.
And that's when they knock on the door for the party. But it's like he's asking them, have you seen any creatures? And the guy's like, well, you mean like a pet? And he's like, no, not a pet. This is supposed to be a funny line.
Yeah.
But it does not land because
it doesn't land.
Like, why are you saying so little about what just happened? Why wouldn't you be like, oh my God, man, there's a thing, it's
there's an 8-foot biomechanical killing machine that just took out, I think, did it kill the other 2 Marines that jumped across the chasm while it was there, or did
no, it just chased him.
So those 2 are still around. They saw it too. I guess maybe they'll come back.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Is that the guy who found him? But there were 2 of them, so I don't know what. I don't know what happened with that.
I don't know either, because we don't get to know any of these characters well enough to care. But you'd think you'd be like, have you seen it? Have you seen the 8-foot killing machine with the teeth tongue, and the tail and the penis head?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a thing to have experienced, and that it's super dangerous. And this is another dumb thing that they do in those shows and movies, where you go, why are you not using your words? You are not a 6-year-old. You use your words. Tell this person. And then this guy's like, oh, well, we got to keep clearing the building. And then he just kind of gets on board with, okay, we're going to clear the building now. Now we're knocking on the door. We got to get these people out of here. It's like, there's a giant alien. Like, wouldn't you just be running for the freaking door? I'm out of here. I cannot help these people. Nobody can help these people. We got to go.
Yeah. Tell them to lock their doors and don't open it for anything that looks like a.
Okay. And that's just with his first encounter where it tried to kill him. Now, after having this conversation with this guy and the party goers, the alien comes and he kills that guy. He watches it rip the guy's face out.
Yes.
It goes in, it slaughters everybody in the party. He goes in, it tries to kill him again, very scarily.
Yes.
And at that point I'm thinking, okay, well, I thought his sister was going to show up and save him with her super strength,
right?
But instead it was the captain guy, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I completely forgot about the captain guy.
It was a surprise.
Your point from earlier.
Yeah.
And so he goes through all of that.
Yeah.
And then the guy zaps him.
Sure.
He gets out of that. I can understand why you'd be stunned at that point. I can understand why you'd walk in and maybe just sort of trip out on a ball. But then again, once people show up, I would think, particularly now, you'd be a little more verbose and a little more of a gibbering idiot about how terrifying and how screwed everybody is and how awful this it's so scary, and this thing, and it's a killer, and it's huge, and it's I mean, the first conversation was so stupid with the whole pet thing, because he does say it's like, oh, it's like a 8-foot. He mentions he says that on the communicator. He doesn't even say that to the guy. So at this point now, then these other 2 show up, his sister and the other person,
right? And
he's not freaking out. She's talking to him and convincing him, oh, well, come, we're going to go help more people. Okay, well, we got to go help more people. What?
We got to get out of here. There's a at
this point, he needs to go full Bill Paxton. What was his character's name?
Oh, I almost called him Hicks, but that's the Michael Biehn character.
Yeah. So
I can only imagine it's Dana Carvey doing his impression on this.
But yeah, at that point, it's like, no, we got to get out of here. Game
Get
over, man. I mean, this is a game over, man situation.
We're dog food, the kind that makes gravy.
So yeah, that just didn't make any sense. And then that well, is there anything else you want to say on that? I was going to move
no,
on.
except I couldn't. In my mind, I can't. Any logical order. At what point he picks up the Reggie Jackson baseball? Because is that after the party slaughter?
Yes, it's after the party slaughter.
Okay, all right. That feels completely out of place then, because like who would care? You almost died twice. People around you are being. You'd be having PTSD, and instead he's like, "Oh, Dad, remember those times?"
Yeah,
What a coincidence. Watched old baseball from 1977, even though it's probably the year 2150. And there's probably been any number of things since then that would have mattered more.
I think you could have played that scene well. I think you could have, if him,
if he was
covered in
blood,
blood, stumbling,
kind of like that brought him down.
What's that?
Maybe if he was freaking out, and that's kind of what brought him back down a little bit.
Yeah.
But he kind of goes in flat, comes out flat.
Rather than getting zapped by the captain, if he was just like covered in blood.
Yeah.
He's stumbling, he gets up and he's just completely freaked out the way anybody would be. He should just be shell shocked.
Yeah.
And if he then, and then he bumps into the ball or whatever, and it turns on the thing, and it's like, what? And then he looks down, and it's the ball, and he's holding it. Like, I could see how that would be this whole surreal kind of thing, and I think that's what they were going for, but it just...
Well, execution didn't really quite... didn't nail it on that one.
Which is a good... Well, I was going to say, is a good segue into the family reunion.
Yeah. You mean with the sister coming into the
because she comes in then.
Yeah, she does, and she's the one who's asking him. And no, it's an interesting take to have her be subtle about it and like not wanting to reveal herself, asking who he's talking to. Oh, my dad. Okay. That's kind of interesting.
There was some potential in the beginning of it.
Sure. I don't know why they didn't play that out for a few scenes.
Maybe a few episodes.
Yeah,
why did we get right into this so fast? And then to have it, to have the stupid other lost boy
just give it away
right off the thing, because he's like, oh, a silly little kid, who can't keep a secret. It's just like all of that stuff is so just out of place.
I'm thinking about what Hermit's day is like here, because he shows up, he nearly gets killed twice, and then his dead sister shows up in an adult body.
Yeah,
that's kind of a wild day. I mean, I would think this character would probably just be like, I'm checking out now. It's too much. My psyche can't handle this.
Take me away, alien. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I came here thinking I might be putting some bandages on some survivors, and instead, everything about my existence is just becoming an existentialist nightmare. Nearly killed twice by something that you can't explain. You've never seen one before, and then your sister that you thought died years before.
That's a complete horror show. I mean, this thing is, a nightmare in the flesh.
Blood everywhere.
No acid anywhere. We haven't seen any of the acid blood situation.
That's true. I guess the zapper would be fairly effective in not putting a hole in.
That's lucky.
Yeah. Well, I guess one would assume that not Yaphet Kotto knows enough about the workings of the alien to know that you can't, if you try to shoot it normally, you might get acid all over. And so he's got this thing. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's that. I was going to say one other thing off of. Oh, and then the alien. It ends with the alien. Again, she convinces him to go with them. Well, come on, I'm so. Oh, well, there's going to be people there that'll need to be helped. Okay, gee whiz, I guess I'll go with. again, this goes back to what is the protocol of
What is
what's
the
happening
protocol?
here? What is the context of your mission, and who are
Right.
you reporting to, and what do you? It's just like, hey, I'm the medic. I showed up, and I'm just looking for people who need medicing.
I'm just a freelance medic. I don't really answer to anybody. I just do what I can where I can when I
I'm
feel
just a humble cave medic. I
like your theories of protocol and how these things should work, they scare me.
exactly.
I do know one thing. That's definitely my dead sister in that adult body that seems
Yeah.
to know a lot about our past. Um, uh, I, I think this is an area where having where procedural shows work really well.
Yeah.
You understand the procedure. You know that you go in and this happens and this happens and this happens and it happens like that in every episode, and that's why we like them, because we we get used to the pattern.
Yeah.
This is given us very little on which to hang anything. Like, we don't know what's out of order because we don't know what's in order.
Yeah. All we know is that this building belongs to Prodigy. That Boy Cavalier owns this building,
Yes.
and so he sends his search and rescue, or is that the city search and rescue?
I get
I
the
mean, I guess he
impression that
owns the
they're
city because he can just send his people and they show up, and then search and rescue is like, oh, okay, you're with him, so yeah, whatever.
actually,
Well, you can do whatever you want.
that's a good question. I assumed that they were his, and then I wondered, as a trillionaire, why he couldn't send more. Um, that there seemed to be like a dozen or so expendable characters that go in, and going through this giant ship, and
It did also kind of it did kind of feel like when they were throwing around the trillionaire moniker that they might as well just be like a gabazillionaire.
right.
Like he's one of the 5 gabazillionaires who are here. Oh, okay.
um, but are we going to get some taste of one of the other corporations and what they might have to offer? Are we going to get a scene, a la Anchorman, where they all show up in the same place for a rumble, and there's like, oh, Wayland Yutani, I should have expected. Oh, okay, Prodigy, but were you expecting us from?
Right. Yeah, I would like to think that we would see more like would imagine they went into this, or that I would have gone into it, or I am going into it, that it's like a Game of Thrones situation where these are the different kingdoms and the different rulers of these different domains,
Yes.
and so that they'd all have different unique personalities
Yeah.
and different stuff. And I'm worried that maybe they have that as a general idea, and we're going to start with the Wayland Yutani company and Prodigy, and then they can start introducing and developing the other ones
Yeah.
as the series plods
Series.
on, and they need to pad more material and come
Sure.
up with new storylines.
Yeah. I think that's probably not going to happen in this series. If it's only 8 episodes, I don't think they're going to touch on it hardly at all. Um, they have made a point that there are several companies all vying for this thing. At this point, we're aware of 2
Yeah,
in the 8 episodes. Is this? Did we say this was 8?
8.
I don't think they're going to touch on any of the others much at all. I mean, we got this woman from Utani. I assume her name, she is Utani. Um, that as the face of the company, which we've never had before.
Yeah. Well, outside of Lance Hendrickson, right?
Lance Henriksen and
Oh, and
in
Guy
Pierce,
Pierce.
who was Wayland.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we've gotten both now, Wayland and Utani. But again, I don't know what time period this is. Is this years after Prometheus, years before the original? I don't know. I don't know where we fall, and they may just leave it somewhat ambiguous.
That's what they do with the Star Wars stuff.
Just kind of squeeze it in, but we don't necessarily know exactly
Yeah.
where.
I mean, I guess like the Obi-Wan series was specific, but Ahsoka was always sort of in a vague window of time.
Yeah. And I guess it's not important that I need to know exactly what year it is or anything, because I don't really know what year any of this stuff.
Right, but you want to know, like, is Waylon still alive, or
Right,
has
yeah.
Prometheus happened yet?
Okay, I just want to mention a trope
Okay,
that
what do you got?
happens in many a movie. It's when some unknown liquid falls on a character's face, and tell me if this isn't the kind of reaction.
Oh,
It's never drip. God, what the hell?
yeah.
Like, they never move fast enough. When I get dripped on, I move a little bit faster
Especially
than
when you don't know what it
you
is.
don't know what it is. I mean, it's the old what something's behind you, so you do this, and then feel that it's the face of an adversary,
Yeah, it's
and
like
then
this
look.
the, this dripping goo trope. It's like something straight out of an Abbott and Costello movie.
Yes,
Abbott
it
and
is.
Costello, Abbott and Costello meet the alien. Yeah, the only other thing I was gonna say to end it up is then in the very end they get to the eggs.
Yes.
There aren't other people that he can heal. They're just seeing this stuff. And then I realized my first thought was, oh, well, they're hybrids, so it doesn't really matter if the face hugger gets them,
No.
right? And
No.
then I realized, oh, but he's not. He's the one human, and he's the
Yes.
one who's danger. And of course, he has to do I'm gonna look at what is that thing? And you're like, no, what are you doing? Yeah, I was just waiting for him to pull out the coochie coo. It was so close to get it in there with that little cute guy. So then the alien comes, and I'm thinking, okay, this is where she's going to use her super speed and super strength.
Yeah.
She does not.
Nope.
And her brother is stolen. So the end of episode 1, I am going to save him. The end of episode 2, she fails to save him.
Right.
And then she's going to run off to attempt to save him.
Oh no, I think she's going home. I think she's decided that it's not worth it, and she was better off. And she didn't. Turns out she doesn't really like her brother that much after all.
She's going to go watch Ice Age. Maybe we all should.
She's going to go save John Leguizamo's character from impending doom from the upcoming ice. I guess they're already in an ice age, so they're not going to die from it. But
yeah, so
from global warming, she's going to save those characters from global warming.
But it's a thing where the alien. I got to look up the character name
Of the alien,
Sid.
Not
Sid,
Herbert?
the character from Ice Age.
Sid. When Sid showed up, I thought it was a mistake. I hadn't forgot. I think I had forgotten that they had ever watched Ice Age at any other point. Like, I didn't remember them introducing that as another thing they watched.
Yeah.
So when I see Sid show up as this composite over here, I thought, did somebody just pull off the funniest prank in Hulu history by sticking this in before broadcast and nobody noticed, and now there's just a Sid showing up in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, it's I guess I'm okay with it being like, oh, the shared memory or whatever, but it might have been that moment, or there was something else where it was a payoff that was set up in the first episode, and I thought, don't do that. Don't set it up in this episode and pay it off in this episode. You're not dazzling. We're not so invested that we're going to remember all of the things that happened in the previous episodes. Some stuff, yes, but other stuff you need to buttress.
Okay.
But back to the conclusion of the episode.
Yes.
She does not save her brother.
Does not.
The alien takes him away.
Yes.
Why? Again, we have the alien not like. What is your modus operandi here?
It must have seen some potential in him as a partner in crime. Yes. I don't. It's indiscriminate. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. It's so far it's killed everything it's come in contact with when given the chance. That's not Hermit.
Not Hermit. If you, the only thing I could think would be oh, now it's finally gonna move something to the eggs,
Egg stage, yeah.
but they were already at the eggs, so why would it take him away from the eggs?
To make, maybe it's at this point it's going to use its gooiness to either turn it into an egg. I think they can be turned into eggs.
The more I think about it, the more, well, they become incubators for the thing that comes out of the egg.
They
So
can.
why didn't the alien show up and then attack all three of them there?
Like it did the party?
Yeah, it's like, oh, great, you're already here. Let me
Easy
pin you to
pickings.
the wall so these eggs can open up and get you.
Right. Yes. So I guess, yes, in theory, it feels like Hermit is the best host of the people there. Hermit's the one. He chose Hermit. Hermit's the chosen one.
Maybe this alien has a crush on Hermit.
I think
And maybe we're gonna see them off and
well,
at like a little romantic table, and the alien
both
will
got zapped by
and, like,
not
kiss him.
They both got zapped by not Yaphet Kotto.
Hmm.
So there's a kinship there that they both suffered.
They got something in common.
Get somebody coming. I know we're live, but I need a bathroom break. So.
Well, I do feel that we're at the 2-hour mark. That's an hour for each episode.
Perfect.
I feel like I've covered everything I had.
I've got nothing else. Everything else we went over.
Okay. I think I've got a better sense of how we can approach episode 3, which will make it even more engaging for our viewing audience of each other.
Should I dress better?
I'll change my shirt between episodes this time.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Phil.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you stopping by. I'll see you at the next one.
Sounds great. Have a good night.
All right. And hey, like, subscribe, and all that kind of crap. And we're out.